Good morning, Bulldog readers. I hope you're ready for another episode of First Chapter Friday. Today we're reading Randi Rhodes Ninja Detective, The Case of the Time-Capsule Bandit by Octavia Spencer. Chapter 1, The Final Case. Gotcha, Randi Rhodes thought. Now smile real big for the camera. Down on the sidewalk, 3 stories below her bedroom window, the man in the navy suit checked over his shoulder to make sure no one was watching. It was 6 o'clock on a Friday morning. Most of Randi's Brooklyn neighbors were still snuggled up in their beds, but Randi had gotten up at the crack of dawn, just as she had for the past 3 days. She'd been on a stakeout for over an hour, never budging from her post while she waited for the man to show up with his dog. Randi snapped several photos of the man and a few more of his prissy white Pekingese. And when the pair hurried off around the corner, she zoomed in for a close-up of the mess that the dastardly villains had left behind. The pretty pink tulip she'd planted as bait in front of her house had been ripped up at the roots. The only things left behind were a hole in the ground and a sprinkling of soil on the sidewalk. How many gardens have you destroyed, she thought. How many old ladies have woken up to find their pansies plucked and their rose bushes ransacked? How many kids won't get to enjoy the first flowers they ever helped plant? How many lives have you made a little less beautiful? All because you're too cheap to buy your flowers from a florist. Randi downloaded the photos onto her computer and printed out a few of the best. The man in the pictures lived 3 blocks away. He'd been a prime suspect for quite some time. Front yard flowers had been disappearing every morning since the man and his family had moved into the neighborhood. However, until now, the evidence against him had been circumstantial. Finally, Randi had proof. Another case closed. Randi congratulated herself. She folded the pictures and stuffed them into an envelope. Then she typed out a note on her computer. Dear Sir, at 6:10 a.m. on the morning of June 15th, you were photographed stealing tulips from a garden on Bergen Street. Since you're new to the neighborhood, you might not be aware that there are many fine florists within a few blocks of your home. From now on, please visit one of these businesses whenever you want a few freshly cut flowers. If you keep weeding your neighbors' front yards, I'll make sure that every gardener in Brooklyn knows who to thank. Randi rooted through her desk for her favorite pen, a blue ballpoint with a chewed-up cap she'd found among her mother's old things. She signed the letter, Glen Street. A few hours later, with her belly full of breakfast, Randi shoved the envelope into the back pocket of her jeans and set off to make the delivery. Hey, her dad called when he heard the front door open. Where are you going? Just for a walk around the block, Randi told him. I'll be right back. I hope so, he said. We're leaving on Sunday and you haven't even packed. Randi frowned. I'm waiting for you to change your mind. Not going to happen, so don't disappear. And hun, what? Please be careful. Be careful, Randi thought miserably as she stopped down the street. I'm not the one you should be worried about. What's going to happen to the neighborhood if you drag me away? I keep these streets clean. I take the cases that the NYPD won't bother with. Who's going to catch all the litter bugs? Who's going to bring Brooklyn's bullies, plant snatchers, and pigeon nappers to justice? When she reached the man's house, she could see his white Pekingese peeping out of the parlor window. A vase filled with pretty pink tulips sat on a table next to the sofa. Randi scrambled up the building stoop and shoved her envelope through the mail slot. In the past, she would have tried to be more discreet. Who cares if they ID me? I'm leaving Brooklyn forever. Besides, maybe it's time everyone knows I'm the real Glen Street. It stung a bit to think that none of her neighbors had ever figured it out. Randi might have solved 32 cases, but adults just saw a tall kid with knobby knees, fiery red ringlets, and a freckled moon-shaped face. They never saw the real Miranda Rhodes. Most people in the neighborhood believed Randy's dad was Brooklyn's mysterious watchdog. After all, Glen Street was the heroine of his best-selling detective books. But Herb Rhodes would usually laugh out loud whenever the subject was raised. He claimed he was flattered that a crime-fighting vigilante had decided to borrow his character's name. Randy wondered how he'd feel if he ever found out that the vigilante in question was his 12-year-old daughter. All right, and then it says, go to Appendix A to complete the first ninja task. All right, so let's see. Appendix A. Conduct a stakeout. Things you'll need: food and water, diapers, optional, patience, a notebook and pen, camera, binoculars, a good excuse. What to do? Find a place where you can watch your target without being seen, or a spot in which you won't seem out of place. Get as comfortable as you can. Stakeouts can take a very, very long time. Limit your food and water intake. You may miss something important if you have to keep running to the bathroom. Stock up on diapers if you can't resist eating and drinking on duty. Take lots of notes. Be sure to write down the things you observe. You may not know how important they are until later. Record any activity that seems suspicious. Invent a good excuse to use if you're caught in the middle of your stakeout. All right. I hope you guys check out Randi Rhodes Ninja Detective. Have a great day, Bulldog readers.